So I want to welcome everyone. This is the CCAF degree completion webinar. It's hosted by Mission43 and Boise State University. We have the Boise State military programs team as well as Veterans Upward Bound here to chat about the program and some support, as well as what it will take to complete your CCAF Community College of the Air Force degree. So I want to start off with the introductions. I'm Allison. I'm the education coordinator with Mission43. If you haven't already done so, I highly recommend that you go to mission43.org, sign up. It's free to join us. We touch on areas of education, employment, as well as engagement. And then I'll pass it off to the Boise State team. Laura, if you want to start first.
So I'm Laura Porter. I'm the military programs coordinator for Boise State. So my office supports the active duty, National Guard, and Reserve military members. And I have two offices. One is here on Mountain Home Air Force Base, and one is on Gowan Field.
Perfect. Taylor?
Hi, everyone. My name is Taylor. I am a student success coach in our online program. So I help students through the admissions process at Boise State. So getting admitted into Boise State and then into the program that a student is interested in. And I am working fully remote, so I don't have an office.
And Mario.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mario Pyle. I'm the project director for Veterans Upward Bound. We are located across the street from campus, but we're not in our offices. So we're working remotely. So all our tutoring is done remotely, and just looking forward to hopefully answering questions and being a resource to anybody.
Great. So we're going to start off with the program overview. If you're with us today, you know that the CCAF Community College of the Air Force degree is completed through the Air Force, but the Air Force has to partner with outside universities to complete gen ed credits required to complete the degree. So Laura, could you tell us a little bit about the GEM model?
Sure. So one of our primary focuses through this partnership with Mission43 and Boise State currently is airmen in Idaho completing their CCAF degrees, like Allison said. So GEM, or General Education Mobile, it's a partnership that institutions have with Community College of the Air Force, and it allows students to take the fully online courses that they need to satisfy the 15 general elective or general education courses that they need for their CCAF associate's degree. So we offer those completely online. Many of them are in 7-week formats. So we are encouraging the airmen to come through that kind of portal, and then we can help them get connected with an advisor, use their tuition assistance. It's just a great model. A lot of schools in other states have the same partnership, but Boise State is the only institution in Idaho that has the GEM partnership with CCAF.
I think we feel pretty lucky that we have Boise State here to do that. Like Laura said, there's not very many universities nationwide that offer this option for members to complete their CCAF degree completely online, completely flexible for you. And you touched on it a bit, but you know, when someone decides, hey, I want to complete my CCAF, what do I do? What is the first step that they should take in that process?
So we always encourage service members, regardless of their branch, to connect with their base education center. So on Mountain Home Air Force Base, that's here across from the bowling alley on Falcon Street, we want you to meet with a counselor one-on-one. That is one of the new requirements. You also have to get a TA 101 briefing to make sure that you understand how tuition assistance works and make sure that you're eligible. But that should be your first step, is connecting with someone on that team who can give unbiased opinions on the schools, make sure that what you're doing is aligning with your future goals down the road post-separation. So that is always what we encourage people to start with. And then if they decide to go to Boise State, that is wonderful. We'll help them through the process. But number one should be connecting with an Air Force counselor.
Perfect. I am going to share a couple links throughout the webinar in chat. So that way, if you have any questions and want to check back later, you'll have these links and we can send those out as well to participants. The first one I'm going to share will be the link to our partnership, our toolkit, which is with Boise State. It's their site and Mission 43 specific toolkit. So that way, if you have questions and you want to know more, this takes you directly to a landing page that you can fill out your information, give your name, number, email, and then someone will connect with you later on about the program. And it'll likely be Laura or someone on the military programs team. And you hit the nail on the head, Laura. I know, Taylor, we wanted to talk a little bit about, from the admission side of things, what that first step process might look like if someone goes and has the conversation about first step to take their CCAF. And then what does the admission side of that look like?
Yeah, so after students talk with Laura and her team, they generally get sent over to me once they've decided they're ready to come to Boise State. Now, at this point, this means students are ready to submit their Boise State application if they haven't done so already, get all those transcripts ordered from previous colleges that they've attended. And once we get those two things, then we'll be able to work on getting that admissions decision through the university. Now, once a student has been admitted into the university, which I will be there to help through that whole process, and we'll be chatting the whole time, then we'll work on the admissions into our online degree pathway program. So the online degree pathway program is that program that helps students to complete those GEM courses that they need. And the admission for that program, it's pretty simple. Me and the student have a conversation about their goals, and then we admit them to the program. So don't have to worry about any extra steps there.
And you mentioned the online degree pathway. I know that's important. We had talked about the different options when you go to apply for Boise State, specifically the online degree pathway, and what do you not want to do basically when you start off?
Yeah, sometimes students, when they're applying, there's a lot of different applications. So you can apply as a degree seeking student or non-degree seeking student. But for those military members, they want to make sure they're filling out that degree seeking application. And when it's asking, what program are you interested in pursuing, you'll want to put in that you're interested in the online degree pathway program. And that will put you into the right little bucket so that we can get in contact and that we can see where your application is at through the whole process.
And you're hearing it from the exact people that deal with this. So they know where to point you in the right direction. And so, and we're kind of going step by step here, but bringing it back. So, you're going to need to talk with the Education Center on your installation. You're going to need to chat with Laura, our team over here at Boise State Military Programs. And then, of course, there's the application side of things. But in conjunction with that, kind of parallel versus 1, 2, 3, in conjunction with that, there's a few other steps that need to be taken. Do you want to share, Laura, about CCAF transcripts and what are the requirements for those in terms of applying?
Sure. So all airmen have an Air Force Virtual Education Center, or AFEC, which is the portal that they use to request tuition assistance through. And it's also where they can request CCAF transcripts. So there tends to be this misconception that students can just start taking classes with an institution, but we really have to kind of communicate that there's a whole process. They need to apply. They have to submit those transcripts in order to be accepted. So we want to, generally when I speak to someone, I send them the link directly to the AFEC homepage where it talks a little bit about transcripts. We want to make sure that they're kind of getting that in ahead of time because they all come out of Maxwell Air Force Base, and depending on the time of the year, it could be a little backed up. So we like to communicate that people should count on at least a couple weeks to get transcripts in. And then after that, they do a couple of other steps before they can start taking classes. So just kind of making sure that they understand that there's a process and it's not as easy as starting classes right away. The transcripts are kind of what takes the longest. And what is great about connecting with Taylor about the admissions process, she helps them along and makes them understand applicants at whatever step they're at. They're like, hey, we're still waiting on your transcripts, or we've received your transcripts, let's get to the next step. So it's nice that they're not just kind of waiting in the dark. We have someone that is in pretty much constant contact with them, letting them know where they're at in the process and then what the next week or next couple weeks are going to look like until they can get to classes.
Perfect. And I think, just important to highlight out of that, it can take a little bit of time to order your transcripts. You need to order your CCAF transcripts kind of like you would if you went to an actual college, a university, and you would be getting those transcripts to get admitted. CCAF has their own transcript service. It takes about 2 to 4 weeks, depending if you order them regularly. So think about that when you're applying. But there is the option to pay a little bit of extra dollars and have them expedited, which will take about 3 days. So you have that option if this is an immediate need for you. But I mean, I think the team here would still, we would all like you to plan ahead and just make sure that you have enough time so that there's no extra stressors going on before you apply. And again, that toolkit link that I just shared in the link is great for resources. If you don't want to write this all down and remember it, go back to that link, fill out the information form, and someone will get back with you. But also going to share a landing page from Barnes, which is where you would request your CCAF transcripts. So that is now in the chat.
Perfect.
And we're talking, you know, CCAF overview, right? And we'll obviously talk about classes to take, but you have other options. You don't have to just go in and take classes. You have an option to do CLEP testing. And so that's basically testing out of that. And Laura at Mountain Home is very familiar with that. So if you could just give us a little bit of an overview and what classes they would take via CLEP, how that works, and how they would get started there.
Sure. So on a daily basis, I talk about CLEP and DSST testing for military members. Every military installation will have some sort of a testing center for this, and it's usually hosted by a civilian institution. So on Mountain Home Air Force Base, Boise State University hosts the testing center. And on an average year, we have about 1,000 to 1,200 tests that are taken a year, which is excellent. So essentially, we have this website, which has all the information that you could want on it, a full list of exams that you can take, the pass rates, and some instructions for signing up, which is very important. So again, the first step should be to talk with a counselor, go over your CCAF transcripts, and it'll show you the credit areas that you need. So if someone comes to me and they say, hey, I want to take a humanities class for my CCAF, I said, you know what, that's a really easy analyzing and interpreting literature exam that you can knock out those 3 credits with. And then within the sign up process for CLEPs, you can have the scores sent directly to CCAF for free. So within a couple weeks, it'll show up in their AFEC as a passing or failing score for that particular requirement. So it's something big that we talk about. AJ Bliss is our test center administrator in Mountain Home. So she is constantly helping the airmen with finding the right exams that they want to take. So not only are we suggesting, hey, this would be a great GEM class to take through us, but you might also want to consider taking an exam. It could really save yourself some time, do it within a couple hours, and then it's free to you as a military member for your first attempt. So it's something that we're huge proponents of. Giving them multiple options to complete those requirements for CCAF, and CLEP is a huge program nationally and internationally. So we're big champions of them taking those exams.
Perfect. And just so everyone is clear, so CLEP tests that's basically your way to test out of a class that you have to take. And we'll get into classes, but say if you have English or math or humanities and you test out of that, that's obviously one less class that you have to take. That's weeks of your time. That's less time to degree completion. And it's automatically going to go to your CCAF transcripts that will again order for classes that you might need to take. And getting to that, you know, there are many options for CLEP for each different area that's needed to fill the general education requirement for your CCAF. If there ever comes a time where maybe testing is not your thing, maybe you want to take a class or need to take a class because that pass rate wasn't there for you, and classes are your next option. So getting into that, you can use tuition assistance to take these classes. And I think if anybody wants to talk a little bit, Laura, specifically about what tuition assistance might look like for an active duty or an eligible member, and what TA promises that Boise State offers.
Sure. So tuition assistance is kind of my forte. I talk about it all the time. It can be pretty straightforward, but there can also be some confusion. So I feel like a lot of airmen have some sort of idea of what it is, but it's not until they come in and talk to us or talk to an Air Force education counselor that they understand exactly how it works. So essentially, active duty Air Force gets $250 per credit hour, and they have an annual federal fiscal year limit of $4,500. So they can use that towards a civilian institution that has an MOU with the Air Force, which we do. So they'll just want to make sure that they have gone through the TA 101 briefing, which kind of checks that box and make sure that they are eligible to request funding. So this plays back into the planning ahead thing, because the Air Force allows them to request TA up to 6 weeks prior and no later than 1 week prior to classes starting. So they want to build that idea into when they're applying to schools, making sure that they get through the process and that they've enrolled in classes before they're ready to request TA. So after they've requested TA, their AFEC account will bounce back after it's been approved, give them this authorization document, and that is what they provide to the school. So for us, we make it super easy. They upload it through our website, which we have a whole tuition assistance website that we'll share with you. And then from there, we take it over and we apply the funding directly to the student account so that you don't have to worry about it. We notify you by email once that is complete. The tuition assistance promise is relatively new. We launched that in fall of 2019, and it has been a huge benefit to the service members who are eligible for it. So when you are using tuition assistance in our fully online bachelor's programs and the online degree pathway, so that would include these GEM courses that you could take, we cover the gap. So our tuition is not $250 per credit. For those online classes, it's $350. So there's that $100 gap that generally people were taking out of GI Bill. They might have been paying out of pocket using student loans, Pell Grants, whatever. So we come in and we fill that gap. So we have helped dozens and dozens of service members not have to pay for college. It's an excellent program. If you use TA for each class, we've got the rest. So we're waiving the application fee. You're getting the TA promise. You are going through your classes with the help of an advisor, and really book costs, which tend to be pretty minimal. They are really the only cost that you're looking at. So no tuition fees, or no tuition, there's no hidden fees or bundled fees, anything like that in the online programs. So that is, like I said, also compatible with the GEM classes that you'll take through the online degree pathway. We are covering the gap between that as well. So that's done automatically. There's no extra steps. Just got to make sure that you get your TA into us, and then we apply that at the same time that we process your TA. So it's a great program. We've been able to give away a ton of money, which is excellent. People get very excited about it, especially if they're not sure on what school to go to. They're like, wow, I was expecting I would have to pay out of pocket, and now I have discovered that I don't have to. So especially if you're a young airman, an E3, E4, and they are not having a lot of leeway in their budgets, this is really a huge save, and it's a huge selling point for us. So it's just one of the services that we offer, and I'm really proud that we can do that now.
I think it's really excited from outside to see that you offer that. Not many colleges do that. Not many colleges can say that we promise to match your TA. And to put that into perspective, what TA offers you is up to $250 per credit hour. So that's $750 per class. And each class has 3 credits. Well, generally speaking, each class has 3 credits, right? So that's up to $750 per class. You have no out-of-pocket expense. If your cap is $4,500 per year and you need to take all 5 of those gen ed requirement classes, then pretty much your tuition is completely covered. There's no out-of-pocket cost to you as far as tuition goes. And you might have some books here and there, but like Laura said, those are generally inexpensive. So if that's the only thing that you're paying out for your education, for an associate degree that you're getting in much less time than the average person is going to spend getting an associate degree. I mean, we're talking a year or much less if you CLEP test, with no out-of-pocket costs, because you're eligible for tuition assistance and because BSU comes in and fills that gap for you without even having to worry about it. So those links, they are in the chat now for the flex testing services for CLEP test, as well as the flex landing page for tuition assistance if you have any questions. But again, I am going to refer you back to that very first link I shared. That's the Mission 43 and Boise State University toolkit. I promise all your questions can be answered there. And then Taylor is awesome. She's here with us. She is actually one of your advisors that if you sign up for this program and you get to the point where you want to take a class, you've taken all the CLEPs you can take, you're tired of testing, you need to take a class. If you want to do that, Taylor's going to help you with this process. So Taylor, if you want to give us kind of an idea of what it might look like for those classes, how they're structured, and really just touch on points from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So like Alison was saying, my job is to help students through the admissions process of Boise State and getting into the program. And so we get this question a lot, like, what do these classes look like? So a lot of the classes that the students are going to be taking are going to be in 7-week formats. Now, a full semester is 15 weeks. So what it looks like when you're taking 7-week courses at a part-time rate, you'll take one class in the first 7 weeks. Then you'll have a week break, and then you'll take one more class in the second 7 weeks. It makes it really easy just to focus in on that one subject. It is a little bit faster paced than the full 15-week classes, but it just makes it so much easier when you only have one subject that you really have to narrow in on, and you know, okay, it's only 7 weeks, I can get through this.
And I think, you know, coming from someone that has experienced online courses, the more you add to your schedule, it doesn't mean that you can't do it, right? It doesn't mean that you can't take more than one class at a time. But if you have the ability to complete a degree at a faster rate by only taking one class at a time, this just sets you up for more of a success for passing these courses, for understanding the material, and for getting it done. Because like Taylor said, you're not focusing on so many things all at once. You can really narrow it down and then have a week break to reset and then go back into another class if that's what you choose to do. Again, you've got that CLEP option. I know, Taylor, but maybe everyone else doesn't know, but I know that you have quite a few classes. Are there any classes that you might want to highlight for the general education requirements, or I could also just share the link in the chat, whatever works best for you.
Yeah, we have that gym course list that you can share the link to. It'll go through in specific detail about all the different courses we offer that'll meet all the different foundational areas that you need to complete. So some of these areas are the oral communication class, the written communications classes, mathematics, social science, and humanities.
Perfect. And then, so we talked about the 7-week classes. Well, you talked about it. We didn't talk about it. You talked about the 7-week classes and what a normal semester looks like, 15 weeks. So you've got that week break. I know a lot of people are very familiar with the semester system and what that looks like to enroll. How does the ODP, the online degree path program that these GEM courses fall into, how does that differ when it comes to enrollment process and timeframes?
I don't think there's much of a difference. So students, they're still going to be, the military students are going to be with other students who are civilians. They'll enroll at the same time frame. So each student gets a specific enrollment date just based off of certain categories. And they'll get an email about saying exactly when they're eligible to enroll in courses. But then the courses will all start at the same time as all the other students. So in the summer time frame, that beginning of courses will start May 8th. That's the soonest class. For the fall, then we've got August 21st. So those are the next 2 semesters that we have coming up for classes.
Perfect. And then what can airmen expect in terms of coursework?
Yeah, so it's different for each course. So it will depend on exactly what course you're enrolled in and kind of how the professor has it set up. But even from some personal experience, because I took some online classes as well, some things that you'll see are discussion boards. You'll have quizzes and tests. You'll have different readings or videos that the professor will provide for you to review. And then sometimes some journals, things of that nature.
I think something that I find really interesting about Boise State's online programs is that you don't feel like you're in an online course, right? But you don't necessarily feel like you're alone because you have students that are right there with you. You're having discussions, you're interacting. And then if you need it, the Boise State support is pretty much in your backyard. So you've got that here for you. So not only do you have that flexibility, but it doesn't feel like you're so far off that you can't find the resources that you need if you need them. And then I think something that I would ask you on the advising level is, what are some of the ways that you guys and advisors specifically support members during the time of their courses and when it comes to re-enrollment?
Yeah, so once you're admitted into a program, you get connected with an academic advisor. Now, we have an academic advisor in our online degree pathway program. Her name is Bonnie Jacks, and she works specifically with all of our military members. And some of the ways that our advising team helps to support our students is we set up advising appointments, which are done remotely. And we also have your faculty and your advisors will communicate as well. We have what we call an intrusive advising model. So they're always checking in on you, making sure that you're doing well with your courses. And if your faculty see like, oh, it looks like the student might be struggling, they'll bring that advisor in to help you in whatever you have going on. And we know a lot of our military members, sometimes they have trainings that they have to go to, or they end up getting deployed last minute. And so we always suggest to our students, be really open and keeping that communication open with your faculty and your advisor, and they'll be able to help you through that whole process. So we know it can be difficult being in the military and trying to take classes. Sometimes we're here to support you through that.
Perfect. And you hit on a question that was asked. I mean, and this is something that we hear all the time, and especially coming from the front end of answering education questions when it comes to military, and then coming from, I'm sure, your end at the direct college level, is what does it look like? I'm a military student and I am active duty, and I just got notified that in 2 weeks I have to go somewhere, and I might have internet when I get there, but there's going to be a little bit of an overlap where I don't. So like Taylor said, keeping that open line of communication is crucial, but understanding that this is a GEM program, that these classes are ODP, and that most instructors would likely work with you on things like that. Seeing it from the outside, I've had the lucky chance to witness some people go through their CCAF, and it truly is making sure that you keep open lines of communication, but that coursework is also available to you prior to, quite a bit of time prior to its due date. So if there's a time that you have downtime and you can work ahead, that's also a really great idea. So it just, again, knowing that there might be times when you need flexibility, and preparing for that. Is there anything, Taylor, that you'd like to share that we didn't cover as far as classes and advising?
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to touch on is a lot of our military students will come in and want a part-time or a full-time schedule. And generally we do suggest those students do look at a part-time schedule. And that's just because when you're looking at how much coursework and how much time you're encouraged to dedicate to be successful in your classes. So for a part-time schedule, they say that you'll need about 20 hours a week to dedicate to your courses to be successful in your classes. So keeping that in mind, that while these courses are in 7-week formats, they go a little bit faster pace. So you do have to have a little bit of time to dedicate to them to be successful.
Perfect. So having a part-time job on top of your full-time job, but it's school.
Yes, absolutely.
People do that all the time. It's definitely doable. I know quite a few of us in here, working adults that have gone to school and made it happen. We're, in kind of the theme of support. Mario, you have been here with us this whole time, but I would love to introduce Mario with Veterans Upward Bound. This is a really, really cool program and an incredible opportunity. I cannot stress this enough, an incredible opportunity for airmen that maybe you haven't been to college before, right? And that might be a little bit intimidating to start the process. And you might be a little bit worried about, hey, I just need a refresher in math. I need a refresher in English. So Mario with Veterans Upward Bound can give us an overview and an idea of what that program can do for someone that has not been to college before.
Sure. So first, most important, this is a free program. And I want to emphasize that because uh, we've been talking about money and paying things, and sometimes you get money back, but this is a free program. It's not something that you have to submit, pay money for to, and then get back later. It's just free. And it's an opportunity, as Allison said so well. If you're in a position where you haven't been to college and maybe there's a break between high school and you're scared about math, I'll raise my hand. I'm the first one to say that I struggle at math. And so we have a math tutor who will work with you one-on-one. You won't be in like a class setting. You'll schedule that time with the tutor. She'll meet with you remotely and coach you and take you through that process so that you can go from a place of being maybe scared and insecure to feeling confident in going into college. I also will say we have also Fran Knight, who does this process where she teaches a class on your learning style. And if anything, I think anyone who is leaving the military, trying to go into any college, whether it's community college or four-year institution or even skills-based, they can come to our program and they can even learn what their learning style is and how to successfully accomplish the things that Taylor and Laura have been talking about. Like I said, we also offer English, but again, we're free. The best way to connect with us is to go to our website that Allison put in the chat, or you can email me. My email address is pretty easy. It's just my name, Mario Pyle @boisestate.edu. And I can connect you to our tutors and get you signed up. Again, we're that process to hopefully help you get back into the college swing. And also for those who maybe have a break in between, they haven't been to college in a while, and that could be a year. Come talk to us. If you haven't been to college in 10 years, I'm a product of getting my degree late in life and having to do the same as many, getting a degree and working full time. So I know that struggle, and if anything, you just need somebody to kind of talk and pick a brain, I'm open to that. We have a great staff. Our tutors are amazing. Like I said, we keep it one-on-one, maybe two people, but mostly it's one-on-one, and our tutors are very flexible in making sure that we fit your schedule and what it is you're trying to accomplish. And we just want to make sure that we help you along that process. We're the entry process to getting into college if you haven't been there, and we will work with you when you're working through veteran services. So we just want to be that one small piece to help bridge that gap that many people struggle with trying to cross over, because it can be a scary world. Also, military member myself, it can be scary going from civilian to or military to civilian, and especially in the college area. So we try to do our best to help that whole entire process.
Awesome. So again, this is a free service to you. Veterans Upward Bound is a free service to you. All you have to do is make an appointment. I have put that in the chat, and Mario's email is in the chat. Again, I'm going to go all the way back and refer you to the toolkit that I shared at the very beginning. If you ever have any questions, it's just a really good place to go. You can type in your question and it will be answered by a real live human. So, take advantage. If that's what's stopping you, take advantage of that learning style. Take advantage of the tutoring. Take advantage, because it's available to you. And you've got to use it or lose it, right? In the military, we know that. So make sure don't let this be a barrier to your education. And I think, Mario, something that I would like to ask you, if you don't mind sharing, and Laura and Taylor can chime in here as well. The adult learner experience. I think we've all mentioned, hey, you're not alone. You're not the only working adult, especially very busy military working adult trying to tackle college while you're serving. If anyone would like to chime in and maybe provide some insight or maybe some expert advice into the experience as an adult learner.
I'll just share my personal experience without going too in depth. It's scary and it's tough and it's very frustrating, but I say that there's a lot of resources. I mean, I'll say this is one of the best things about Idaho, especially Boise. There's a lot of resources for vets. So if you're getting out of active duty or out of the Air National Guard or the Army Guard, whatever branch, and you're here, there's a plethora of resources ready to help you along the process, whether it's housing, jobs, school. Just reach out with this community of people here to make sure you're successful. And I know this is the biggest part, is being military, you're taught to not ask for help. I'm going to personally say, please set that aside. Asking for help is the most important thing you can do. And it doesn't make you weak, and it doesn't show a lack of anything. It's actually a strength. So ask, take the help, take the free programs, take the tuition assistance, and reach out to people and allow people to help you, because people here want to see people succeed, not the way we want, but what matters to you most. And that's by my experience, and that's why I love working for Veterans Upward Bound and love connecting with Laura and Taylor and Alison, because I know they care. And I know that if they email me, hey, can you reach out to this person? I will. And if I send somebody their way, I know they'll get to them quickly. So take advantage of it, and don't allow your fear of asking for help control you.
And more on what Mario is saying as well. Our programs were built with our online non-traditional students in mind. So the people who are learning online, have full-time jobs, have families they're taking care of. These programs were built with your success in mind. And so building off of that, yes, please express when you need some more help, or if you need additional resources. We are here to help you. We want you to be successful, but we just need to know sometimes when you're struggling.
And I'll dovetail off of what Mario and Taylor said. Some of the most fulfilling feedback that I get about all of our comprehensive programs, people, which a lot of military members have attended multiple institutions as they move around. So when they get to us and they've had their specific point of contacts helping them with tuition assistance or tutoring or advising, they are kind of surprised, because at their previous institutions, they say, I didn't really have anyone to help me. I didn't have anyone that was an expert on tuition assistance. I didn't have anyone that offered tutoring. So that is something that people have really enjoyed about Boise State, that they have people who care about their success, who care about helping them through every step of the way. It's something that makes me really happy when I get people that say, hey, I've never really had an experience like this, and it's great. And it spreads like wildfire within the squadrons. I mean, within 1 week, just as an example, we had 6 people from one squadron in Japan enroll in one of our programs because their first sergeant, was super impressed with how we handled it, and they told everyone about it. So it's just that positive word of mouth about our programs, and it makes us all really happy that we can be able to support them in that way.
That's great. And I just want to stress that these are the people, these are the faces, these are the ones that you are going to talk to. So what Mario says, we do care. We do care about your success in this program. We do want to see you succeed and complete that CCAF program while you're in and knock out some college. The Community College of the Air Force program is unique. I mean, obviously it's unique to the Air Force, but it's unique. It's because yes, the Community College of the Air Force is the degree granting entity, but you have this incredible support group from a university that is practically right in your backyard. And then if you want to take it further, you have the ability. The CCAF isn't just for people that want to become career airmen. This isn't just for people that think I'll never make master or senior if I don't get my CCAF. So that's my first step. Great. It's there for you, but it's not just there for those people. This is there for you if you decide to do one term, if you decide to do a couple enlistments and then get out, whatever your plan is, this is really a great opportunity to earn an associate degree in very little time, a year or less. I can't stress that enough. Even if you take classes, very little time, you have that opportunity, but then you have the opportunity to go forward and cut even more time off your degree completion in your bachelor program. And that is through a program AU-ABC, which is Air University to Air Baccalaureate Cooperative. And I think the BSU team, you can touch on that very much more so than I could. So if anyone would like to highlight what that program is, yes, this is a CCAF webinar, but yes, we are going to end with talking about your opportunities going forward.
Sure. So one of our other partnerships, AU to ABC, Air University Associate to Baccalaureate Cooperative, which is a huge mouthful, it allows airmen who have completed their Associates of Applied Science through the Community College of the Air Force to kind of seamlessly roll into a bachelor's degree program. So when you're transferring those credits, you're pretty much halfway done. And our agreement with Air University is to not require airmen to take more than a certain number of credits, which hovers around 60 for these programs that are within our partnership. So not only are students completing their GEM courses with us, they're wrapping up their CCAF with CLEPs, and then they're like, hey, really want to do a bachelor's degree. So we show them our AU to ABC programs. And these are bachelor's programs completely online that we have to get certified individually. And currently that is our Bachelor's of Applied Science program, which is our most popular, business management and public health. So when you are completing your CCAF or within 9 credits of completing your CCAF, we can help you transition into a bachelor's degree program under the AU to ABC program partnership. And we basically both sign an agreement saying, hey, let's get this going. You're not going to take more than 60 something credits to graduate. You're meeting with an advisor. It's a great program. And just being an AU to ABC partnership school, I believe there are currently 72 or 73. It has been a huge draw for us. So we are listed within AFEC. I think we're on the first page for these programs. And we've had airmen from all over the world coming in through that funnel. So it's important, and this is one of the things I talk about all the time, not to think short term. We don't want you to be taking classes just because it looks good on your EPR. We want you to complete degrees and complete certifications so that you're prepared to have a second career or have a improved quality of life after you separate. Now more than ever, we're seeing airmen that are getting out after their first or second term and they're seeking another career. So we want to make sure that they're using their benefits while they're in the Air Force, taking advantage of TA and the TA Promise, and then maybe doing a Bachelor's of Applied Science program after they do GEM classes. So really, we're helping them out every step of the way and making sure, hey, now I'm prepared to start my own business after I get out and I have all of this experience and education. So that's just something for another day. AU to ABC, we could go on and on about it, but it's something to talk about with your education counselors at the Ed Center as well. They are a wealth of knowledge on that program.
And, again, AU to ABC is something for another day, but as someone in 2008, I received my CCAF degree. And back then there were not very many colleges. I mean, right now there's less than 100 nationwide that offer this AU to ABC option. And I spent another 3 years to get my bachelor's degree. So you're talking about, again, less than a year practically to get your CCAF if all goes well for you, right? Some things might happen, but if all goes well, you have the opportunity to complete it in a year or less. And then you come in and the typical bachelor degree that might take a general, an average student 4 years, even in an accelerated program, it might take them 3 years to complete. Many universities don't accept the Associate of Applied Science Community College of the Air Force degree in its entirety. So all of your credits might not transfer if they don't have that AU to ABC program. So this is cutting out a significant amount of time. You're getting your CCAF degree completed in a year or less. And from there, you can get your bachelor degree completed in about 2 years. Again, if all goes as well. So you're talking about 3 years max total of your life if things go well for you, with 2 degrees coming out of that. So think about your opportunities. And as Laura said, don't, taking classes for your EPR, if that's what floats your boat, great. We want you to have a great EPR. I understand how that goes. Strive for 5, right? But do this for yourself. Do this for your future growth, do this for future opportunities. And then if you turn out to be a career airman, know that life doesn't end at retirement, and you will have opportunities after that. And having your degree completed at that time looks even better for you when it comes to civilian employment. I'll open it up right now. If actually the team, do you have anything to add that we didn't cover?
I do have one plug. So we touched on textbooks a little bit earlier, and I forgot to mention, so at our Mountain Home office, where I am today, virtually, we have a textbook lending library. It's relatively small right now because we're just getting started, but it's on our radar to add more and more books. So you go through our website, you say, hey, I've got this Bachelor's of Applied Science class coming up, and this is the book I need. Well, we've got it. So shoot us an email, stop by the Ed Center and come pick it up, and then return it at the end of the semester, hopefully in good condition. So it saves you some money. Some of the books are more expensive than others. And as we grow that library, it will become more of a resource to students in all of our online programs. So hit us up, let us know if you need a book. We should be able to help you out. If not, we can point you in the right direction to where you can get that for lesser cost. So really, we are here to expand your options, to decrease your costs, to decrease your barriers. It's what we're all here for, and any of us can help you with that. So books is it's one thing I forgot to mention earlier, but I would love for more people to take advantage of that, certainly.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, and something that a lot of people do ask about. So it's really good information to have. And something that I do want to note on that is that I do get asked this question quite a lot in other programs as well, is are books available online? And there are some courses where books are available online, and there are some where they might not be. So again, that would be up to your instructor, and depending on the course. And then if you don't have that option, then the lending library is hopefully there for you. But there are plenty of services out there to find books and make sure that your costs are kept really, really low in order to get your degree completed as fast or as successful as possible. I don't see any questions that have come through. I'll give the one last final call for questions now. Give that a few seconds. Okay, going once, going twice, no more questions. I want to thank you, Laura, Taylor, Mario, and your incredible team, the rest of the team that could not be here. They are a full support system, and it is just really neat to see and hear more about what you offer and what we can share with our airmen at Mountain Home, with our airmen at Gowan, and then nationwide as well. So, oh, well, one popped up. Don't let me go. Don't let me leave. Can we get sent the links via email that we're here in chat? Yes, absolutely. So this session has been recorded, and we will follow up with a recording that will likely come out within the next couple of weeks. And when that happens, you will have all of this information. But if you would like me to ahead of time, I will absolutely send you all of these resources personally via email. So just look for that within a few hours. Okay, well, team, enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend.
Thanks everyone for attending, and thanks Allison for putting this together.
Yes, thank you so much, Allison.
Everybody have a good day.
You too. Bye.